Hello and welcome to today's Q&A session. I'm Wendy Greer. I'm one of the coaches here at Learning Strategies and for MINDTRX. And I wanted to address today a third component that I see regularly when people aren't getting the results they would like to achieve. And it's basically having the room for new ways of being, new feelings, new emotions, new thoughts, new paradigms to come in. And I'm going to start with an analogy from another course because this was it so succinctly puts why this is such an issue for people. We did a Diamond Feng Shui course with Marie Diamond. And what you're doing with Feng Shui is you're looking at the energy of your home, and everything in your home has a frequency. And when you look at it, it's either neutral, it lifts your energy, it drops your energy. And so what the intent of Feng Shui is to look at your space and see what's in it and whether it's uplifting you or whether it's draining you. And so what you do is you assess things based on, do I find it to be beautiful? Does it have great memories attached? Am I using it? And if not, why is it still in my space? And the reason that she brings this up is because when you have a lot of clutter and a lot of things in your space, it's like you don't have room to bring the new things in. And that can be extended to, you have things in your head and your heart and your entire persona. And so most Feng Shui masters are really big on clutter clearing and space clearing. And the analogy that Marie uses that I love so much is she says, you can, have done your Feng Shui, you've done the major activations, you're clear on what you want. But if you have not cleared things that aren't serving you, that you want to move on from, things that aren't floating your boat anymore, or that aren't moving you forward, or that are keeping you trapped in the past, there's an issue. And her analogy is so great. She says, imagine there's a big cosmic FedEx airplane, and it is loaded to the gills with every single thing you have requested. And so the pilot gets in the air, and he's right over your house, and they lift your roof off, and they look in, and it's like, oh, there's no space or anything in here. I mean, oh my gosh, we can't jam a single thing in here. Oh, well, guess we can't make this delivery today. And so the pilot says, okay, who's next on the list? So the reason I bring that up is when people get stuck in a way of being, in a story, in a perspective, it keeps them confined. Labels, I'm a mom, so I can't do that because I'm too busy doing this, and this. They did this to me and they keep doing it to me, and I really resent that, and it's just not right. And so that you're sort of staying stuck in this place, and you start coming from this single perspective. It's like you have tunnel vision and you're looking down this single channel, but you don't recognize that there's 360 other degrees around you, and all of those have other possibilities. So what I really want to express here is that you are always more than your perceived limitations. That's a perception. It's not reality. It's what you're perceiving. And one of my big challenges here as a coach is people who are defined by their limitations. I mean, it is really sort of funny. I mean, I've taken calls. It's not funny, but it's sad, but it's mind-boggling in a way for me. But I'm on the outside, so it's easy for me to see what's going on, and that's the beauty of having a coach, that somebody who's looking from an outside perspective, but getting what's going on in your life. So these people that are calling in and they're totally in victim mode, they see everything through the filter of victimhood. It's always somebody did this to me, somebody's doing this to me, the financial situation happened to me, this relationship went south and another one went south. My church isn't supportive. I have heard so many stories, and what they do is they get stuck, and there's no space for anything different to come in. And what is really challenging for me is sometimes I have to be an accountability partner, and I have to say, you know what? I get what you're saying, but you've said this, you've reiterated this so many times. What else do you know? What else is in there? I mean, sometimes I wish they were sitting in front of me and I could grab them by the shoulders and look them in the eye and go, who are you without that story? I absolutely, positively know you are more than that. How can I help you to see that? And so this is just chronic. And as I said, it's not with just the Paraliminals, it's with all of our courses. The filters that you see the world through, they color your world. They make it what you see. And so one of the things that Paraliminals are so good at is you start recognizing where your filters are. You start seeing the filters that you're seeing the world through. And eventually what starts happening when you're using paraliminals is you start you're looking at the filters, not through the filters. I think that's what I want to say. So it's really, really important that we get to the crux of what is keeping you stuck and create the room for the new to land. I mean, what paraliminals do really is they even create a runway for that plane to land so they can bring the stuff in through the front door and up into the attic and wherever you want it. So a couple of thoughts on that. There's 3 paraliminals I'm going to mention. I mean, as I've said before, paraliminals are very personal. That's why they work so well. If you are in a state of overwhelm, and I'm hearing a lot of that lately, where people are just, they've got too much coming at them. They've got so many roles they fill. They got so many commitments, and they have trouble setting boundaries. And I have to say, I'm going to raise my hand a little bit on that one. I have a little trouble not stepping up to the plate when people need me. But what you want to look at is where you can shift that. And a really good one for that is overcoming overwhelm. Because overwhelm puts you into this state where you're almost a deer in the headlights. It's like you look around and everywhere you look, there's something that needs to be done, something that needs to be addressed, something that you would prefer to have be different. And so overcoming overwhelm is really good for acting with calm, clarity, and effectiveness. I love that tagline. So basically, you're doing what I said. You're assessing, you're prioritizing, and you're deciding what you can shift and what you can't. And that opens the space for you to allow the new in. And this is such a crucial piece, because when you are stuck in looking through those filters, you're going to find what you look for. So now another one that I really like is letting go. A lot of people have been using letting go this last few years because they're internalizing a lot of media hype and a lot of there's a lot of separation paradigm right now, and a lot of us that are into this field and this human potential recognize that we're all sparks off the same divine flame. And letting go is really good for, I often use it in the evening if I've had a day where I feel like I internalized a lot of stuff that isn't serving me and is going to keep me stuck. So letting go is a really good one. And as I said before, it doesn't mean condoning. It just means you're allowing it to be what it is. You're assessing it for veracity, and then you're going to decide what you're going to do about it. And one of the things you might want to consider using letting go for is, a lot of us, like the gentleman David that I referenced in an earlier Q&A, we internalize things at a very, very young age, and we assume because they come from an authority figure, that they're valid. And often they have zero validity. They don't, and you're not a child anymore. You're a grown-up now. You have all these resources. You just need to access them purposefully and consciously and decide what you're going to do. What are you going to shift? What needs to stay? What goes? And then from that space, put out there what you want more of. Another one that's really good, if you, this is a trio of paraliminals today I'm going to mention. If you are feeling in the moment, and it's sort of a transitory thing, but it's really got hold of you, I love Fresh Start. It's really a reminder that every moment, every second, every millisecond of every day is an opportunity to start over. So it's a really good reminder that, at every moment there's a choice point. How do you want to move forward? What do you want to believe? What do you want to feel? Take a couple of conscious breaths and take a look at that. And it's amazing how these 3 will help you to shift the perspective, shift the filter, shift you back, sort of give you that bird's eye view so that you can see where you might be tripping yourself up and hanging yourself up. So that's basically what I wanted to say about that. I see a lot of this, and it's a heartbreaker because people get locked in, and some of these people have been living with these stories for 30 and 40 years. And often I'll find out they weren't even from people they totally respected. They just internalized something and never questioned it. So it's really important that you do that to create the space, create the room for you to step into what you can be. So I would really like to encourage you to take that to heart and move forward with that. So we only had one question today, and I this is great. It's not something we've addressed before. I am trying to surrender artificial sweeteners, gum, diet, pop, Splenda, and also caffeine. I've tried automatic pilot, belief, break the habit, new action generator, fresh start, and I'm still struggling. One of the things about behaviors that aren't serving you is that at some point in your life, they made sense. They were filling a need. So one of the things that you want to really be alert to is, when does this surface? When do you feel the need? When do you need that sweetness? What circumstances create that? Because that's probably the one you're going to want to take to a paraliminal. I know that a lot of people will reach for something when they feel like they're holding themselves to such a high standard that they never get off the leash. They never let themselves have fun. So for that reason, like, I would probably consider self-love, because that allows you to set your own parameters, to set your boundaries and say no, and then you aren't reaching for that substance to fill that need. So that would be one that I would look at. The other one that I really like, Frank, physical, and I've got a caveat with this. Perfect health is wonderful for anything that's going on physically in your body, because it reminds you you have the blueprint for perfect health. It's there. You just it's residing there. It just hasn't been brought to the surface lately. I'm assuming this person has checked the biochemistry of this, because what you put in your body has a huge impact on your body, and there's becoming more and more data on that. So I'm assuming it's not biochemical. So try and ascertain what the need is that's being filled. See what triggers it. And then, take that issue, that specific issue. It might be around a particular relationship. So maybe you're going to use positive relationships. You might use instantaneous personal magnetism. So you're more able to connect in a charismatic way and a compassionate way to resolve whatever's going on. So see what is precipitating that need. The other one that you might try that you didn't mention is new behavior generator, because when you're reaching for something, consistently in certain circumstances, that's a behavior that would be appropriate to shift. So that would be my take on that. And again, as I've said multiple times, paraliminals work so well because they're so personal. So see what tune into what we've just talked about, see what you think the precipitating factors are, and then take a look at the titles and the taglines. So, and I'd like to leave you with a thought. And I can't attribute this to, I don't know where I picked this up. I love little sayings, because they're so easy to hang on to, and they're really sometimes so incredibly potent. But I love this one. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. So in every challenge, there's an opportunity to grow. In every challenge, there's an opportunity to expand your understanding of the world, to come into present moment awareness, to be everything you can be. And so remember that what happens what you perceive as happening to you is really happening for you as an opportunity. And if you look at it that way, you shift the way you see things. You don't look at it as a something threatening, or something that makes you a victim, or that takes you out of self-responsibility, or takes you out of the driver's seat. Okay, what's the opportunity here? What can I learn? What's the growth that's possible here? So I would really encourage you to approach it that way. All right, lots of love to you from all of us here, and we will see you again next week. Take care.